They never tell you in library school that you don't know whether to call yourself a librarian or a media specialist. I've always thought I was a librarian, but people apologize when they call me that and tell me they should be calling me a media specialist. But I don't really think I'm a specialist, especially not in media. Hi, I'm Julia from Q&A The Librarian Way and Sunbeam Yellow, and in our last Library Shorts video, Emily talked about her love for R.L. Stine, and so it really got me thinking about who I loved to read as a child or a teenager. And there were a couple of book series that grabbed me every time, but probably my favorite series growing up was The Babysitter's Club by Anne M. Martin. Yes, I will admit it, I was a die-hard, hardcore Babysitter's Club fan. And one of the best things about being a librarian is that sometimes you get to meet authors, whether it's through author visits or book signings or sometimes just conferences. And last year at an Indiana Librarian conference, I got to meet Anne M. Martin, and it was so fantastic. To me, meeting an author is like meeting a celebrity. I would much rather meet an author that I've grown up on than meet a movie star. And meeting Anne was fabulous. She was so sincere in everyone she talked to, and I just loved it. Now I have a tendency, because I think authors are celebrities, to get a little starstruck when I meet an author, and so I always say the first thing that pops out of my head. I will share a Meg Cabot story sometime, but for now I'll stick with Anne M. Martin. But when I met her, I just said the first thing that came into my head, which was, I'm a Mallory and a Marianne mixed together. And she just very sweetly took off her glasses and said, "That makes complete sense to me." And it was so sweet and I loved it. But I have here the first 3 books out of the Babysitter's Club series, and let me tell you, these are kind of hard to find. Like, I can't find these in Barnes & Noble anymore. I find mine at a lot of Goodwills and different places like that because they're kind of hot commodities. And she signed all 3 of them for me, which was awesome. The very first book in the series is called Christie's Great Idea. I have read this book probably 30 times. I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorites. And she signed it for Julia, BSC Forever, Anne M. Martin, which is so cool. It is like a treasured item to me. I absolutely love it. The second book is Claudia and the Phantom Phone Calls, and then number 3 is The Truth About Stacy, where we discover that she has diabetes. And so she signed both of those too, which was awesome. Now, the reason I'm talking about the Babysitter's Club is because I want to know what babysitter you were most like, because I know there are other Babysitter's Club fans out there. For me, I was definitely a Mallory and a Marianne. I was a Mallory because Mallory was kind of awkward. She had frizzy hair and glasses and braces, and she was a reader, and that was me to a T in middle school and high school. I had the awkward look, but I was such a big reader. And there's one book where Mallory, I think, writes a letter to like a mosquito repellent company because she bought their repellent and it didn't work, and so she wrote a letter to complain to them, and that is totally something I would have done as a high school student, and so I find that hilarious. And I'm definitely a Marianne because Marianne was shy and quiet and very organized and had very neat handwriting, and that was me too. I would have been the secretary of the club without a doubt. I always wanted to be Stacy though. Stacy was the fashionista. She was from New York City. She put little hearts over all of her eyes. She was just fabulous. She and Claudia both were very cool, but I have to be honest, I was neither of those girls. So leave a comment below telling me either what babysitter you were or what your favorite book series was in middle school or high school. And don't forget to leave any questions you have for us because we would love to answer those in an upcoming video. Okay, see you next week.